Daddy, it's so hot. Can I please on it?
Yeah, sure, sir.
The global warming issue is at critical state.
What's wrong, Dad?
Well, the global warming issue is getting worse.
What? What is global warming?
So, what is global warming?
So let me explain about the global warming to you guys. Global warming is the increase of world average temperature caused by what is known as the greenhouse effect. So let me explain about the greenhouse effect. There are several types of greenhouse gases such as methane, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and hydrofluorocarbons. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the methane. Methane is produced by the transportation and the combustion of the fossil fuels. So when we drive a car or when we use petrol, we burn fuels and that emits methane and carbon dioxide. That is some of the greenhouse gases that radiates or that expose to the atmosphere. By what cause? The cause is the greenhouse gases that have been emitted traps the heat from reflecting back to the space. So this causes the world temperature to be rise.
So, when there's this question, what are the factors of global warming? So, the major factor of global warming is the greenhouse effect. As it has been mentioned earlier, greenhouse effect takes place due to the emission of greenhouse gases. For instance, one of the most common gas is carbon dioxide. So what does these gases do? They form a layer in the atmosphere, and this layer of greenhouse gases, they wouldn't let out the heat to reflect back to space, which the heat that has been radiated from the sun. So now what is the factor that forms the emission of carbon dioxide? Two major factors or causes the excessive formation of carbon dioxide, which is the burning of fossil fuels. So what is the use of this burning of fossil fuels is from two major things, which is for automotive, and next is the electricity generation. So next we go to the second factor, which is deforestation. As you can see, nowadays there's the excessive deforestation and illegal logging, so there are very less trees. Thus, there are so much of carbon dioxide buildup in the atmosphere. Before this, it was an equilibrium where the carbon dioxide increases and the tree absorbs and the ecosystem was stable. But nowadays, as the modernization and urbanization is hiking up, so there are lesser trees, thus there are higher carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Finally, the use of fertilizer. So people might ask, fertilizer, how does this fertilizer really affects and contribute to global warming? Yes, it does. It's because when the fertilizer is exposed to the atmosphere, it releases nitrous oxide, where nitrous oxide is 300 times worse than carbon dioxide. Thus, these are the major mankind factors that leads to global warming. If natural phenomena for global warming are like the sunspots. When the sunspots radiation increases unnaturally, Thus, the radiation of heat to Earth increases and it affects the overall temperature of the Earth.
So, as we know, global warming has many effects. Yes, they are good and bad. For example, for good effects, perhaps the increasing in the temperature for certain places that are too cold to be lived in. Perhaps it could be a good thing. It makes it more conducive for people to live in. But in general, we can say that rising in the general temperature of the whole Earth does bring negative impact on everyone. For instance, rising in sea level. Now this happens when the polar ice cap melts. In the Arctic, and the water that melts from the ice cap will spread into the ocean and cause the sea level to rise. In fact, scientists claim that 400,000 square miles of ice has melted throughout the years. Now imagine all this water, all this ice melting into water. That's a lot of water. So, this ice, these polar ice caps are also natural habitats for species like polar bears and penguins. Now all these penguins have nowhere to live and are on the brink of extinction. Like scientists also say that there's been up to 1 million species that's extinct since the beginning of time, and a lot of which we can put a blame on global warming. Now this water not only affects the polar ice caps, but different regions. For example, places like beaches, they have all been engulfed in all this water, causing harm and damage to properties. Now, these effects are not just limited to the polar ice caps. For instance, let's take cities, urban centers with billions of people, lots of buildings, or what we can call a concrete jungle. Now, these concrete jungles traps a lot of heat, and this is known to cause health problems to the citizens. For instance, heat stroke is a very common cases in cities with very high temperatures. Next, we can also say that all of these effects of global warming causes us money, a lot of money, whether directly or indirectly through medical bills, through destruction of properties. All of this causes us money. But more importantly, the most important cause of global warming is our very home, which is the Earth, the destruction of our home that we live in.
I will explaining ways to decrease the global warming. First, reduce the usage of fossil fuels. Burning fossil fuels can increase the levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Instead of using fossil fuels, we can use green technology such as wind energy and solar energy. Secondly, we need to plant more trees. So that it can absorb more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and can maintain the stability of ecosystem. Thirdly, instead of using your own transport, we can use public transport, or you can carpool with your friends instead of using your individually transport. Last but not least, you can use the 3 R's principle, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle to save our Earth from the global warming. Global warming have causes humans many problems, but we humans who make the global warming happens. Many people have died because of disaster or disease. It will affect the economies of the country. Our main concern should be on the environment and ecosystem. Why? It's because the root of destruction of economy and human health is the stability of the environment and the ecosystem. To wrap up, we should take the global warming issue as a serious matter. Therefore, practice all the action that we can do in order to decrease the global warming effects.
Hi! We are from Group 29. We would like to thank our lecturer, Dr. Shafira, for guiding us through the project, and thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you. Bye.